Hey y'all, I'm Paula Deen, and whether you need to cook for 2 or 22, today's show is a real crowd pleaser. We're actually going to head to the Carolina Lowcountry to gather up the key ingredient for today's dessert. And then we're going to head back to my kitchen where it's time to get started preparing some of my favorite dishes. No party at my house would be complete without my daddy's favorite food, chicken and dumplings. And then I'm going to be fixing up my cherry tomatoes with cream and the Lady and Sons onion cheese bread on the side. And then finally, it's a Carolina Gold rice pudding with a buttery fruit sauce that will have your guests sticking around forever. So y'all invite the whole neighborhood, because today we're cooking for everybody. Good morning. My mind's just ticking away because I'm getting ready to cook for a crowd on today's show. And some foods work very, very well for a crowd. And one of those foods is rice. So we're going to go get a very special rice today. Y'all come along with me. We're going to have a wonderful time. Would you believe my friend Hal tests each crop of rice by hand to make sure it's ready for harvesting? By producing small batches of this golden rice, they're able to still make it here in the South the old-fashioned way. Hal watches over each and every step to make sure it's perfect every time. You know, I never realized how much effort goes into every little scoopful. Thanks, Hal. I had so much fun seeing just how it's all done. That was a nice field trip, wasn't it? I learned so much about rice. Can't hardly wait to make that rice pudding. It's going to be delicious. But in the meantime, we're going to start on my chicken and dumplings. So I've got our pot getting hot here, and we're going to add our water. And we want to add enough of it to more than adequately cover our chicken. So we're just going to put our chicken into our water. All right, now we're going to add onion to our pot and celery and a cup of chicken bouillon cubes, and I'm going to put in maybe a teaspoon or so of house seasoning. Now my favorite part to the celery are the leaves on it, so I'm just going to snap that off, stick those down in there. And the last thing that's going in our pot is bay leaves. So I'm going to put our lid on there, and I'm going to leave the lid cracked. Now I've already got a pot of chicken ready right here. Now I'm going to go ahead and pull our chicken out of here. My mother and grandmother made their chicken and dumplings with whole pieces of chicken. Now some people don't want any part of the bone, but like I said, I love it just like this. Now we're going to move on over here and make our dumplings. Now I've got a bowl of just plain flour here, and I'm going to use about a teaspoon of salt. I lost my beautiful daddy when I was 19 and he was only 40, but his favorite food was chicken and dumplings. And it meant so much to me to be able to make his favorite dish, even though he wasn't around to eat them, but it was just real important in case he came back. I could make him chicken and dumplings. So I'm going to start by using my hand, and I can already feel that dough getting real hard. Now I'm going to add my ice water, just a couple of tablespoons at the time, and then I'm going to come around and I'm going to keep building my ball of flour. Okay, so I'm going to come back and get me a couple of more tablespoons of water and just keep working that dough until all that flour is in there. All right, we've worked up almost every bit of that flour. I'm going to pick it up, kind of work it like that, and now I'm going to bring it over here, and I'm going to put down plenty of flour. So here we go. If this dough is like it should be, this should be a fairly hard job. So this process does take a few minutes, but have patience or call in your man and just keep working it and working it and working it. All right. Now I'm just going to dust that with a little bit more flour. I'm going to let that sit and dry for a few minutes, and while I'm waiting on that to dry, I'm going to put in a can of cream of celery soup. And it's just amazing the kick that can of soup is going to give our broth. All right, I'm just going to stir those up. I like my dumplings seasoned up with the black pepper, so we're going to add some of that. And you know what I'm gonna do? I think just to make sure those bad boys are peppered enough, I'm gonna come over here and do this, because I really do like those flavored with the pepper. Now we're gonna take just a butter knife, and then we're gonna start stripping our dough. Isn't that pretty? Beautiful is that dough. Can't think of one other dough that's prettier than that kind. All right. Look at that. Beautiful, thin. So we're just gonna break it in two and drop it into our pot. And the most important thing, y'all, about making your dumplings is you don't wanna stir your pot, because if you do, there's a great chance you could tear up your dumplings, and you don't wanna do that. So this will take just about 10 minutes. And when they're done, we're just gonna lay our chicken back on top of our dumplings. I'm ready to finish up our pot, and all I'm gonna do is take a little fresh parsley and give them a few whacks, because I do love what the green does to it. And now I think it's safe for me to put my spoon in the pot. These dumplings look just wonderful. All right, now this is ready for our chicken to go back in, and we're just gonna lay it on top of our dumplings. So I think they're ready for me to sample. Look how good that does look. Look at that nice fat dumpling. And there's been a bird out here raising Cain. I think I'm gonna go out there and see. He may be after my cat. What a perfect day for chicken and dumplings. They bring back so many wonderful memories. Y'all stick around, because I'm gonna be making some wonderful, hot, yummy Lady and Sons cheesy onion bread and cherry tomatoes and cream.
I so hope y'all are enjoying the show. And if you do, be sure to click like, subscribe, and the notification bell so you'll never miss a video. And we'll be right back after the break.
All right, the next two dishes I'm gonna start off with are just good, easy, simple recipes. I'm gonna start by putting about 3 tablespoons of butter in a hot cast iron skillet. I'm gonna let that melt, and I'm gonna add about 3 tablespoons of brown sugar. And I'm gonna add about half a teaspoon of salt. I'm just gonna kind of let that brown sugar melt into that butter. All right, I'm gonna add about a quart of cherry tomatoes. Ooh, that looks good, good, good. So we're gonna let these cook until the skins start to split, and I'm gonna help them along by getting each one of those tart little morsels bathed in that brown sugar and butter. All right, so I'm gonna let those cook just a minute. And in the meantime, while those are cooking, I'm gonna come over here to our other pan and add about a tablespoon of oil, and I'm gonna start sauteing some onions, because we're fixing to make the Lady and Sons onion bread. So we're just gonna kind of let those cook until they're transparent, and then I'm gonna step back over here and give our tomatoes another, ooh, look at that caramel down in there. Looks so good. All right, now they're starting to split, and now I'm gonna pour in heavy cream. Bet you think I couldn't make a tomato fattening, didn't you? Don't ever underestimate old Paula. Okay, we're just gonna let those bubble along, and look at the butter rising to the top over that cream. All right, let's look at our onions over here. I think those are good, because we don't want these mushy either. So I'm gonna pour them into our bowl. All right, to make this dish is easy and simple and quick, because we're gonna start by using a biscuit mix. In fact, I've got a special little friend out there today that I wanna actually dedicate this recipe to. His name is Casey, And his mother and daddy actually brought him into the restaurant for a meal, and he was so cute. And I sat down and talked with him, and he told me that he wanted to be a chef. Well, Casey, a couple of months ago, became ill, and he told his mommy and daddy that he just wanted a picture of Paula to hang on the wall in his hospital room. Well, I can't tell you how that touched my heart. So I immediately sent him a picture, and his mom and daddy let me know that he got it and it's hanging on his wall. So Casey, this recipe is for you, because as soon as you get well, son, I want you to go into the kitchen and make this up for mommy and daddy, because it's so easy. All right, now I've added an egg and milk to my biscuit mix. And now I'm going to toss in some cheese, a nice sharp cheddar. I'm going to mix that up just like that. All right, now I'm going to just put our batter into the pan that we sauteed our onions in. And hopefully the heat from the pan will help get us started with a nice crispy crust. All right, now we're going to spread that out evenly in our pan. Now I'm going to sprinkle the top with a little onion salt. I'm going to pour some butter over it. Just drizzle that all over it. All right, I'm going to come in here and get me a little chive. Doesn't that look deliciously sinful? All right, we're going to put this in our oven and let it start cooking. So that oven's good and hot. Now I've got another one over here that's almost ready, and I've got a little extra grated cheese that we're going to throw on the top of him. And he's getting nice and brown. Now he'll be ready in just a minute. And while I'm waiting on that to brown, I'm going to come up here and I'm going to be dipping up our tomatoes, because they are ready. These are so good. To pile these on top of a big old bowl of steaming rice. Oh, it's so good. I think I want just a few chives sprinkled on top of those. Oh, does that look delish or what? All right, this should be ready now. That cheese should be hot and ooey gooey. Oh, and this one does. Just look at it, almost looks like a cheese pizza, doesn't it? Speaking of pizza, I think I'm gonna cut him just like I would a pizza into wedges. All right, let's see. I don't want to burn myself. That handle's hot. Looks delicious. Would y'all think too badly of me if I just ate out of the bowl? I hope not. I think I'm going to stick that bread. It's so incredible. Y'all stick around, because coming up next, I'm going to be making you the most delectable rice pudding you've ever put in your mouth, with a buttery rum sauce to go on top.
I hope y'all are enjoying the show, and I want to hear from you. Tell me what recipes or videos you'd like to see me make by just leaving a short comment below. Now, let's get back to the show, y'all.
Look, I want y'all to look outside today. It's raining. My favorite time of all is to get in my kitchen and cook when it's raining. So I'm fixing to share with you today the richest, creamiest rice pudding that I've ever eaten. And I'm going to start with 3 cups of water that's been boiling. And I'm going to pour it over in here, along with our rice. This rice is going to make this pudding dish so good. All right, I'm going to pour that in there, and I'm going to add about a half a teaspoon of salt. And then I'm going to put a lid on it and let it cook for about 30 to 40 minutes, and then I'll check it. In fact, I'm going to move this to the back, because I have some that should be just the right consistency. And ooh, that looks good. All right. Oh yeah, see, it's gummy and sticky, just the way I like it. Now we're going to add about a half a stick of butter to our rice. And I'm going to add 1 can of sweetened condensed milk. So that's where we're getting our sugar from. Now we're gonna add our raisins, and look how that's looking. All right, now I'm gonna put this back on our eye, and I'm gonna cover it up again, and we're gonna let that cook for about another 20 minutes. And in the meantime, we're gonna come over and make us a buttery fruit sauce to go on top of our rice pudding. And I'm gonna start by putting our butter in a hot little black skillet. And I'm gonna add just like a fruit cocktail to it. And just let that sizzle in that butter for a few minutes. Okay, so I've got our fruit just bathing in that butter. I'm gonna get my potato masher and I just bust up and break down that fruit just a little bit so it won't be chunky. All right, I'm gonna add our sugar and some lemon juice. Doesn't that look good? And I'm gonna add some orange juice. And actually, I'm gonna put a little orange juice right here because I need a little bit to break down my cornstarch. So I'm gonna take that cornstarch and just stir it into that orange juice. And then when this starts to boil, I'm gonna add that to the fruit and that'll thicken it. Okay, our fruit sauce is boiling rapidly. So I'm gonna take our cornstarch that I've mixed with a little orange juice, pour that into our pot, and that should immediately start getting thick on us. And we're gonna just let that continue to rapidly boil until he's the thickness that I want him. And I'm gonna let him cook for just a minute. While he's thickening up, I'm gonna come over here and check our rice. And that looks so good. Now I've just got one more ingredient to add to this, and that's the vanilla. So I put a teaspoon and a half in there. And we want to do this at the last so that vanilla won't evaporate out. We want him to stay in there good. This is going to be just delicious. All right, now I'm going to come in here and add half a teaspoon of rum flavoring. All right, I'm going to spray these lightly. I mean, ever so lightly. Oh, I know it, isn't that rain just out of this world? All right, now I'm going to put our rice pudding in our little custard cups. Now you can actually serve it out of this cup or you can unmold it. I already have some made and I put it in the fridge. So let's go see if that's looking pretty good. And ooh, look at this. Now as I said, you can let this sit on the counter and chill and thicken, or you can stick it in your refrigerator and kind of rush it along. So I'm gonna unmold one of these now and loosen up that pudding and just unmold him onto my plate. Oh, look how pretty he looks. And I'm gonna take a little fresh nutmeg and just grate all on top of him, and I'm gonna bring it around my plate so that when I come back and get me some of that sauce, it'll be there. Doesn't that look yummy? Now I've actually got me 2 bowls up here. I'm gonna grate a little fresh nutmeg on that warm, and then I'm gonna try the one that's kind of chilled and see which one I really like the best. Oh, look at that nice fat raisin. The fruit sauce gives it a totally different taste. Now for you die-hard rice pudding fans, you may want to just eat it straight up and warm. They're both yummy though. Well, it looks like it's almost about to quit raining. So I guess that'll end my cooking for the day, won't it? But y'all stick around anyway, because I'm going to share some tips with you on how to cook for a crowd with no sweat.
I so hope y'all are enjoying the show. And if you do, be sure to click like, subscribe, and the notification bell so you'll never miss a video. And we'll be right back after the break.
Lord knows I have cooked for some big crowds in my day, so I just want to share a few tips with you. We cook tons of rice a year at the restaurant. Every speck of rice that we cook is actually baked in a pan in our oven. And you can serve your rice pudding right out of this. Put you some fresh nutmeg and sauce on the side and let everybody dig in. And for your breads, you can actually make them in the shape of a biscuit or a muffin using an ice cream scoop. Bake them off, throw them in the freezer, pull them out the day of your party, cover them with cheese, and run them back in the oven. And then you're all ready to be the hit of the party. My table is just groaning with all the food that's sitting on it right now. I hope that when it's time for y'all to cook for a crowd, that you'll enjoy the Lady and Son's cheesy onion bread, or the cream tomatoes are just out of this world, and the chicken and dumplings. What can I say? They'll cure what ails you. And last but not least, this yummy rice pudding. So Casey, honey, this show is for you today, and I'm sending you love and best dishes from my kitchen just to you.
Hey y'all, it's Paula Deen. Now, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like it and click the subscribe button as well as the notification bell to be alerted when I post a video. Love and best dishes, y'all.